Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. It is Friday, baby. Let's go. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely wonderful, guys. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin altogether and analyze the situation to see if we are going to go to higher levels or lower levels. Are we going to find support here, get a massive bounce? Do we get down to sweep up the liquidity beneath $86,000, or do we pump to $95,000? Let me know here. I left a poll here so everybody can answer. I didn't get my hat on and the sunglasses, guys. It is Friday, but we're going to keep it chilled this Friday, okay? Let's go through the comment section, see how the community are doing, and make sure to get your votes in. I want to know your personal opinion here on the chart. We got many analysts here watching the stream. Do you see a possibility of Bitcoin bouncing soon? Maybe wick the lows, maybe forming a higher low and moving up to $85,000 throughout the next coming days. Of course, we are coming into the weekend because I would say that this would be after the weekend. Weekend is usually quite boring. And we're very, very likely going to see the price of Bitcoin ranging a little bit, okay? So let me know, though, do we have a chance in forming a higher low in this region, getting up to 95,000, testing the highs, this SFP not successfully moving to the downside to the lows of the range? Or do we sweep that liquidity, guys, that we do have beneath $87,000, where we can see here on the liquidity heat map, lots of liquidity down there. Let me know right away on the poll. We'll go through the poll later on, but we have a little bit of a 50-50, over 100 votes at the moment. What comes first for Bitcoin? 95K, which is the highs of the range again, which we did test, guys, already last week, at the beginning of the week, actually. And 86K, which is kind of more interesting, right? We've already gone up. We failed to move to higher prices. We failed to get above the range highs, and it kind of makes sense after testing the range highs to kind of test some range lows, right? I get it. It kind of makes a little bit more sense, right? Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. Before we start, of course, I need to say this because I always forget, guys, but it's super important. Big disclaimer, this content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Now, yes, we can go through the comment section, guys. Today's a big day. We got a interesting day, as you can see probably in the description or the pinned comment. Okay, so we'll go through that in the next coming minutes. But first of all, say hello, show some respect to the community. And yeah, basically say hello, guys. I'm just going to go through the comment section. See, I can see here Crypto Cowboy is here already. Much love to you, my man. Nice to see you around. Alex, hello, legend. Andy, hello, sir. Hope you are well. I am very well. I'm actually pretty good. I had a game of tennis with CBM, Crypto Bimans, here today. Almost managed to beat him, but I didn't. We are going down. By the looks of things, a little bit choppy. We did get a little bounce yesterday. We'll be focusing here on the 15-minute time frame to discuss this price action. Is it looking very bearish? Does it have a chance to be any type of corrective structure? Yesterday we had a swing failure pattern from a little range low, nice confluence. We got a few setups ready for today's live stream, okay? We do have a few setups, regardless if we get them live or not. We're gonna have to see. Of course, I will be going through the different scenarios and the different movements that I would be looking for here for a new trading setup. The bounce that we had yesterday was nice, just under about $2,000, enough to make some nice little profits. Leave a runner to see if there is a chance for a bigger recovery here in the next coming days. And of course, we did reject from this zone. We had the previous day point of control. Daily open, a lot of resistance. It would have been nice to sweep that lower high. This lower high was actually good for an SFP. We mentioned this yesterday, like just for a little rejection, it was acceptable. However, we missed it, but we did get a lot of resistance here, attempting to break above previous day point of control yesterday and just chopping here. A little bit of a double, triple toppy situation. Finally, with this movement down of today, small little movement, but still you know, I would have, I didn't get into this short. You know, I would have really struggled here to get into that short position, if I'm honest with you. An SFP would have been nice from this lower high, which was mentioned yesterday, but we missed it by about $1, guys. So very, very close. Anyway, we've got some new scenarios today, so make sure to stay tuned. Smash up the like button right away. Let me just go through the comment section. I read a comment and I jump straight away into the charts. I have a problem. I have a situation here by, you know, just getting distracted with the charts, but we'll get to that right away. Mariela BTC. Woo, let's go. Today is the day. Stay tuned, legends, for the launch of the new trading community, first month for free. She said it. Mariela said it. You got it here. You got the DMs open, of course, today. I'll be answering throughout later on the stream, of course, and we'll get you sorted, okay? We'll tell you all of the information needed, all right, to get that free month in the community, guys. It is the first link down below. Anybody that was waiting for this in the last couple of weeks, you have your chance right now to check out the community where we got the coaches all together. There's news, there's going to be setups, there's going to be daily updates, mainly Monday to Friday, of course, some updates on the weekend just to get ready on a few setups, and you have it right over here. It's the first link down below, okay, or in the pinned comment, and it's super simple. Just send promo, all right, and we'll give you the information. Happy Friday. Let's go, Philip. Much love to you. Safe Haven, hi to Andy and all. First a dump to 86k, then a pump to 95 or 98k. Interesting. We can go through that. There is actually an interesting Elliott Wave scenario that could happen. Sweep up that liquidity below 87, 86k, and then maybe get a bounce. It is a very, very interesting swing long in area, which we could watch, okay? But we might not get down there. There is some bullish local scenarios. There is the possibility of forming a higher low here, even though I know it doesn't look great. This is bearish. We swept the highs. Come on, we got lots of liquidity here. There's lots of eyes looking for the continuation to the downside here. It doesn't look bad, okay, but the movement up also looks a little bit good. So based on the information that we got today, the new information as per for the thumbnail, we can determine a little bit. I think we're going to form a little bit more of a range as explained yesterday. I think this had the potential of being a local low, and we could form a larger range here throughout the next coming days on the movement here to the upside, and see if it is going to manage to be a little bit impulsive, or is it actually going to be corrective to just get that continuation to the downside, right? And the weekend is coming, and weekend is very well known for rangy corrective structures. So we'll be talking about these scenarios that could develop so we can get ready for that trading setup, guys. Okay, if you're excited for that, smash up the like button. If you do enjoy the content, let's go, legends. We are here. It is Friday, baby. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, legends. Okay, Crypto Cowboys, good morning from down under. Happy 10/1/26. Happy birthday to the Fox. Tilly is for today. Much love and happy birthday. Morning, Divana Trade. Much love. Good morning. Think we're still bullish, says XKEAPZZ. Think we're still bullish. Mariela, much love. Thanks for joining the stream today. Much love to you. Let's go. Let's go. Morning, Mariela, says Crypto Cowboys. Mariela giving love and power as always. Satya, much love. Dump, then pump. Okay, another one here saying that we first dump and then we pump. Hopefully we dump. DNX is pumping while BTC is dumping. Hopefully it reaches my second TP area. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks, Andy. Super appreciate you going live and always showing up. Thanks for this. You're very welcome. Chilawata, much love. Short to fill the CME gap at 88k. That is interesting. We got another gap from the 1st of January. Okay, the last day of the year. We did form that gap. Andy, dark glasses, BTC future must be bright. Exactly. Very true. Very true. Good comment right there. Anup. 88.9k, sweeping the lows of yesterday, and then we pump. Interesting. Double bottom then, I guess. Morning, Andy. Much love. Big Don. Mariela, much love to you. Let's go. Let's go. Is there a possibility to join Mind Pillar community without signing to Bluffin? I like trading on Bybit. Potentially, we do have some other options. Of course, there is Velto. Velto is a decentralized platform. Okay, you have the decentralized option as well. if you do have a wallet, okay, such as MetaMask, Ledger, and obviously having the minimum requirement there is you will get that access for 1 month for free. Okay, we can probably sort you out. Okay, I can probably sort you out. Make sure to send me that DM, and we'll look to sort you out. Okay, 112 on the cards. 112 on the card says Meme Cat. That's probably to the upside. PRS3, hola Andy, much love. Hello my trading mentor, love from India, much love to you, Rach. Let's go, let's go. Okay, legend. Jerome, I just saw you right over here. Much love. Should I message Devil or promo because nothing is happening? You can message here. You got the direct Telegram, okay, down below on the first comment, on the first basically the pinned comment as well in the comment section. What if we take out 80k low? What's the bear confirmation and validation? We're going to talk about where does Fartcoin go, says Dan. Not sure about Fartcoin. Elliott Wave, we could be now in a fourth wave correction, wave 5 likely, but already a top could be a close below 90.4k is not good. I think we can discuss that. Fourth wave, when we talk about Elliott Wave theory here, I'm not sure. I don't see a very solid 5-wave move to the downside here. I have to say it's not very solid, unless you are counting here this to be your third wave. Of course there could be this 1 2, so that's your wave 2, that's your wave 1, that's your wave 3. I'm not sure if you are saying that this is your wave 4 right over there. It doesn't look too great. Your wave 3 would be a contracting diagonal. Not a fan of a wave 3 being a contracting diagonal, okay, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, I don't see any solid, okay. I'm not sure if you're saying this being the wave 4. It's just that you can't get a wave 3 here nicely in this movement, all right, and a diagonal doesn't work, of course, for that wave 3. But multiple 1-2s would be the scenario, okay. Multiple 1-2s would be the scenario here. We're going to go through the higher time frame, okay. I will try and look at the messages here in the comment section. Maybe it's me, but it's just there is only 13 BTC exchange availability, therefore it is price. Right. Right, let's go through. Daniel Singleton, much love to you. Okay, let's go right away through the analysis. Just trying to read the comments here, but I'll get through the comments later on as well, and let's fit in the analysis. Is this movement bearish? Is it bullish? Is it corrective? Do we have a possibility here of the price spiking to the upside? In my opinion, it looks better for a movement to the upside, to take out potentially these highs. It looks better, okay. It all has to do with this bounce and this movement to the downside, okay. The momentum here for Bitcoin locally, it looks better to take out the local highs. At some point, of course, you could take out the lows, but it looks like that a range here is more likely, okay, for this movement to extend a little bit longer. I would say that this movement to the downside is likely completed, and this is an individual wave that is forming right now, which would make more sense to extend, and with the potential, of course, of taking this local high at 91,500 at some point, okay. Let's go through the higher time frame. What are we looking at on the higher time frame? Of course, I know the lower time frame. Shall we just stick on the 15-minute time frame, guys? Let me know. I mean, nothing has really changed on the higher time frame. We do have the possibility of an ending structure here, just because we have taken out this lower high of the range. We have a movement to the upside, just getting things a little bit more simple. We ain't going to go in detail on the waves because I know a lot of people don't like it too much, right? It gets a little bit confusing, but let's just say that we have this movement to the upside, right? We got the movement to the downside after this lower high, And then we have the movement to the upside that did take out this previous high. When you do take a look at the lines here, right, at the drawing, it's a three-wave structure, right? It could be a three-wave corrective structure. That is possible. That would mean that, okay, that's it, right? We are in a bear market. The movements down are aggressive. This is just a corrective structure in a three-waver, and the price is ready to go to lower prices, right? This would be like the simple way of viewing it. Hey, we are in a bear market. It's downtrending. The bounce that we had since November, it looks very three-wavy, and it's just about time to continue the downtrend. It's bear market 2026 4-year cycle theory. This does not look extremely bullish. Higher lows right there, but coming from a major downtrend, three-wave structure. Come on, you know, it's like it would be looking very, very correct to arrive at in simple terms. So there is the potential, all right, of this being a finished WXY. Okay, there is the possibility where you would have a zigzag here, a complex correction, and maybe a three-wave structure here, another zigzag right there. A little bit tricky here to count an impulse move. You can fit an impulse here. There is a way of counting it. Just because you have many waves here, a little bit of overlap, but there is a valid impulse on the lower time frame to be counted here. But there is also a valid zigzag move where you have a rally to the upside, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, to finish your C wave. So literally an ABC can be fitted here. When you look at the general idea, this would be a three-wave, right, WXY more than an ABC, but we keep it as a ABC three-wave structure, right, for simplicity, right? So looking at this, then we would have to see and focus on the local price action, the local move to the downside. Is it looking strong? Are we getting big movements here? We are stopping a little bit in this zone, which is actually support. You know, the main reason why this zone is support, the main reason why we mentioned yesterday that there was a acceptable swing failure pattern. We were coming to the conclusion that we were hitting here the value area high. We were hitting the 382 Fibonacci from the lows to the range to the highs of the range. Beautiful confluence right there with the value area high of this range formed in December. Very boring range, right, guys? There was only like day trade setups here in this little range, right? Nice for day trading, but not for swing trading, right? So we got that value area high, the 382 Fibonacci. We got that higher low that was our interest level for a speculative scalp long position, okay? On yesterday's stream, still in that long position, by the way. And when we do take a look at the latest lows before this rally, right? These lows right over here. Then, of course, we were hitting also the golden pocket 61865 Fibonacci zone coming into this area, right, of support. So nice Fibonacci confluence, golden pocket from the latest move to the upside, the 382 from the low to the highs of the range, value area high of this, you know, pretty wide range of December. Nice SFP level with the 382, very valid, all right, considering the movements to the downside here were not, you know, there was the danger of multiple 1-2s. There is still the danger of multiple 1-2s, of course, and breaking down. But we didn't like the double 1-2s, all right? Triple, four, you know, actually more than that. Multiple 1-2s here to the downside. Just because this one right over here is very, very long, has some pretty nice volume compared to the first move down. We didn't like it too much for this to be the start of a major bearish structure to the downside. So when I fit in here multiple 1-2s, I'm like, I actually prefer to fit a complex corrective structure than multiple 1-2s because it's, you know, not very symmetrical, and you preferably the lower time frame 1-2s, you want them larger than the second 1-2s, and there's no proper impulse that you can fit in this zone. So this is telling me, you know what, I like the idea of this maybe being corrective after this rally, and if we are hitting some levels of interest, we can definitely look for a possible long position, which was this one from yesterday. Yesterday, no shorts. Yes, this zone was resistance. We got a lot of choppiness. We got a little move here to the downside this morning. It was the previous day, point of control, right? Daily open as well from yesterday. And yeah, it was just struggling here with this zone. Now, you might think we're forming an inverted head and shoulder, right? It's a little bit of a humpback Notre Dame with the right shoulder that's like a little bit like this, right? It was not the most beautiful right shoulder. Left shoulder is a little bit too small. We're going to pop out from here, right? We ain't talking about those patterns, especially with the right shoulder being a little bit humpback Notre Dame, right? Not the best looking one, but we do have a little bit of resistance here by the looks of things. And, you know, this could be a level where it can actually pop out, right? It can actually pop out. Maybe it could back test this zone. It's been a proven level of resistance and support. Do you know what level this is? We can pull it out on the chart right now. You know, why are we getting, you know, supported and resistance here at the $91,500 range, right? It seems like the price action is struggling at that zone. So it seems like an important level. You know, you either break it and back test it, maybe get continuation to the upside. The main reason why this is a level is because we have the previous week close and previous week high in this zone. So last week's close was exactly at 91,494, 500 basically, depending on what exchange you're using. So that level has been providing resistance, support, resistance, right? If we were to manage to come back up to that level, in my personal opinion, I think it has a good chance to try and pop out here, right? Get a little squeeze to the upside and actually pump here to 92, maybe 93. It's very, very possible, of course. Does it have the possibility of an SFP, as we did not test out the lower highs here from Thursday? Interesting level. It is an interesting level, but if we were to manage to form a higher low from here and climb up to this region, I would assume that it's very, very likely that you could be forming an ascending triangle kind of structure and, you know, finally just pop out from this region, right? We're going to have to see. I'm not too fond of this SFP at the moment. Yesterday, yes, one test is good, right? But when you are coming back to test this zone, if you are going to come back and test this zone, I wouldn't treat this as a nice SFP with, you know, 2 tests already, right? Third, fourth test, you know, it's going to probably attempt the breakout, right? So, yeah, it's not a level that you know, we could get a slight SFP on the first test, but I would say be careful because you probably could form a higher low here and form a bit of an ascending triangle structure, right? Or that inverted head and shoulder, which looks very, very dodgy, but still, it's a neckline, right? Where we've proven to see resistance. The more times you tap it, the more you know, the more possibilities you have in breaking out, of course, right? So, yeah, regarding the movements here to the downside, it's previous week close. Last week's close was exactly here where we are getting that support and resistance this week, right? So it is providing that resistance as we can see on the chart. Now, let's go through the different possibilities here, which we did discuss yesterday on this movement. Some people are saying that, well, someone was saying, not some people, someone was saying in the comment section, right, we sweep up the lows of yesterday. Do we have enough confluence here to believe that we do actually get another rally? I would say that there is a chance. Let's just say there would be a chance here for a sweep of the lows and a recovery to the highs. I'm actually, with today's price action, considering that that could be a possibility. And you may ask, well, you know, why would you think that this is a possibility? Basically, when we do take a look at the price action and we consider the most bearish case scenario, okay, when I want to consider the most bearish case scenario, I need to fit in here multiple 1-2s. A 5-wave structure kind of doesn't fit here. It kind of doesn't fit. Okay, doesn't fit nicely. Wave 3 would have to be a contracting diagonal. Of course, we do not consider that here on the wave 3. So a 5 wave move down, and we still need to form the 5th wave, kind of doesn't fit in nicely. I would rather want to see this being a individual wave, just because it just doesn't look nice as a 5 waver. This is your wave 4 and this is your wave 5 now getting developed. So, and multiple 1-2s, I don't like it. It's still technically possible. As we mentioned yesterday, that last lower high is important, right? But this would have to be a wave 1, and this would have to be a wave 2. Wave 2 almost taking out this lower high, right? So this would be 1, 2, 1, 2. All of this are 1, 2 as well, and then this being another 1, 2. You can see it's not symmetrical. The second, third waves are much longer. This one isn't that long, but the retracement is too deep, right, to the start of this wave 1 right over here. Multiple 1-2s doesn't fit very nicely, and I would say it doesn't have the highest probability. So what if the price rolls over right now in the next hour or two throughout the stream and tests the lows, right? Holy smokes, this is going to nuke, right? That would be your general emotion sentiment. It's going to nuke down, right? That's what I would want to believe, obviously, in this downtrend. If we come down to test these lows, I would say that, oh my goodness, we want to be cautious. Of course, this is probably going to roll over and come down to the 87, 86K zone, right? Claim that liquidity already. Not massive amount of support that we have in this zone, so not looking too great, right? Does anybody want a long as we do test the lows? I have to say, I like this double bottom. Somebody said in the comment section, is this available double bottom, right? We test the lows. Well, he was actually confirming. I think we test the lows and get a rally. I have to say, it would be acceptable. However, it wouldn't be looking extremely bullish later on. I would say that this could be a flat structure if we were to come and test the lows. It is an interesting long SFP, okay, to come back up and test the highs of 91,500. So it is a little move of $2,000. It's acceptable. Why would I say that this is a possibility? Multiple 1-2s, I have to say, it doesn't fit very nicely. Of course, I am aware that if the price comes down and does not kind of SFP successfully from the lows and continues trading beneath the low here, I understand that, okay, I'm not interested in the long, guys. We lost the level and it looks like that volume is kicking in. We, just not longing, right? Sitting on our hands. We are very good in just staying calm and patient and saying, oh, we're losing the level. Let it go. Just let it go. Then we'll find clarity later on, right? We'll have better options throughout the next coming days. Once the price slows down, hit some support, we'll find another trade setup, right, in the next coming days, if that is the case. But we don't want to rush into a long. If we lose a level of support, we just need to remain patient, right? If we don't have much levels beneath us here to provide us that support, the only option would be a reclaim, kind of a fake out of the lows here to consider that recovery to the upside. So just like yesterday, SFPs, we need to treat them with just good risk management. Tap the level, get the entry, stop loss at the low, and just give it a shot to get that 2-3 to 1 risk to reward. Take some profits, protect position, right? And go with the flow, right? Basically. So this would be a similar execution, right? Still in that long, I actually added a little bit and had the position here beneath this wick low, okay? So I am still in that position, all right? Still in that position of that SFP and looking possibly to get above 91,500. That is my possible projection here. Maybe a higher low is possible, and get that rally above 91,500 is a possibility, okay? It is a possibility. So if we come back down and we SFP, I think I will attempt another long position. If it does happen on the live, and I need to explain why, it's actually a decent possibility. understanding that the multiple 1-2s for me doesn't have the highest probability, just because of how the symmetry is of the waves, right? Preferably you get your wave 1 and then your second wave 1 and then your third wave 1, right? And they go kind of smaller before you get the dump here to the downside. And that is not the case here, right? There's no symmetry in the second. It's super long compared to the first one, and that's not what you want to see. You want to see them going smaller and then getting the move to the downside. So I don't like the idea that there would be high probability in breaking down here. Of course, I need to be aware, if we were to test the lows, and this is not multiple 1-2s, what we need to see, okay, is the next movement fail to move to lower prices, okay? And this is why you need to manage risk like a beast. You get above, you can have a chance here on the long position. If you lose it and you just continue down, there's no long to be taken anywhere. At least for me anyway. That's what I'm looking at here. Just providing a little bit of the information that I would be looking at here for this setup. So, like we mentioned yesterday, there is a possibility of a contracting diagonal. Everything fits nice here. Of course, a contracting leading diagonal does not have the highest probability, but we consider it, of course, right? If you can picture it on the chart, where you have your wave 5 being smaller than your wave 3, they are contracting. Wave 4 is smaller than your wave 2. It fits in nicely. Okay, it's possible. I like this possible idea. If you were to claim the low, even though after a contracting diagonal, it's usually more common to get a pretty nice zigzag to the upside. That's the most general corrective move that you have after a contracting diagonal. But would a flat be available? I would have to say it can happen. You could get a flat structure here. It is very much a possibility. This is why understanding that a breakdown in a wave 3 doesn't look great because of the multiple 1-2s. I understand that if the lows are tested, I think there could be low probability in breaking down successfully, and it could be a double bottom. This is why, because of this case and because of the information that we have, I would treat it as, okay, it is possible, even though flat structures as a correction are not that common after a contracting diagonal. That's I have to say, right? That I have to say, that it's not common to get a flat after a contracting diagonal. So this is something that we don't need to go too crazy on the long position, in my opinion, on this possible double bottom. All right, so we'll focus a little bit on the local time frame here, all right, as well. This little movement that we've got, but just zooming out a little bit to get a few things ready, right, just in case volatility kicks in here. We've got New York open right now. We've got a little bit of local volatility, nothing too major, but overall, double bottom. Not every top and every bottom is good for a double top or a double bottom, but this one, based on the information that we have from the movement down and understanding the probabilities of the big breakdown, I have to say that it is an acceptable double bottom. What do I need for the double bottom? I need to tap the level, and I need some kind of a reaction that gets above the low and does not break on the attempt. As long as we maintain beneath the level, then I just need to accept that it's just going, right? It's leaving. So there would be no attempt on the long position. Now, other scenarios, could we treat this movement to the downside as a corrective structure? Very much a possibility for this to be a correction, and maybe this being finished right over here, even though it looks like it wants to roll down, right? Kind of looks like we'll be taking a look at CVD and different levels and different scenarios. But when we consider a correction here, we discussed this yesterday, where you have a very three-wavy move to the downside here, right? And this bounce right over here, and then you can fit in a bit of a three-wave move to the downside right over here. Bit of a zigzaggy move here to the downside, which would give you the possibility of a WXY. Okay, when we do look at the zigzag here for your wave W, your wave X, that can be a triangle. You can fit a triangle here. There is 5 waves, and then the zigzag down in your wave Y. A little bit complex. WXY, movement down. We got the push up. Is this movement down corrective? It does look like it doesn't have any power, right? It's just gonna flush the lows, and we're gonna dump. Not looking too promising, this downtrend, right? Not looking too promising, but there is the possibility. This movement to the upside, does it look impulsive? I mean, this is 15-minute and it's a bit choppy. I would have to say not too clear this for it to be an impulse. All right, not extremely clear, but it's possible for sure. It is definitely possible for this to be an impulsive move or a 3-wave structure. If this is a 3-wave structure, could you be forming a 3-wave down? That's the possibility here for a wave A, a wave B, and then after claiming the lows, getting that movement in a 5-wave structure to the upside to sweep up the highs is possible. Higher low here. Let's check. This would be a little bit of a contracting diagonal here. This would be a little bit of a kind of a contracting diagonal for a 5-waver. I mean, it is the very, very low time frame, so very, very noisy. This is the problem when you're looking at Elliott Wave theory on the 5-minute, 15-minute. It can get a little bit noisy and confusing, but I would say that there is the potential, of course, understanding that this movement to the downside that we've had from this pivot high, bit 3-wavy, and we got a pretty nice bounce to sweep up these the lows, right? So a 5-waver here doesn't fit very nice. This bounce did overlap this pivot, so that would be an overlap of your wave 4. Wave 4 in 1. It does look quite corrective, very 3-wavy, this movement to the downside. So there is the potential of a higher low here. I have to say, there is the possibility of a higher low, all depending on the CVD. Of course, we've got the Bybit bros getting into massive longs at this moment. Well, not massive, but we do have a few million long positions here entering on Bybit with some bearish local CVD divergence. Look at this. We've got some longs entering the market, and we don't like that. We don't usually like that. It is true, though, that we do have also some bullish CVDs. The CVDs that are played out here to the right always have priority, okay? Even though you have higher lows on price action and lower lows on CVD, we can see many exchanges here forming lower lows. So there has been some shorts piling up here throughout the last couple of hours, right, with this movement down, which is creating some bullish CVD divergence. However, the ones on the right always have priority because that's the new information. The new information always has priority against the old information. So with that said, yeah, as we can see, we are forming those lower highs on price action and higher highs on the CVD. Yeah, we're claiming the lows. I mean, these are very local. This does not mean that we need to take out the lows, just the recent lows that have been created, which is what we are doing basically right now. So we are getting longs entering on Bybit in this zone, and the price action is literally just claiming those local lows as, you know, in this little range, right? So this is very, very local bearish CVDs to literally test the lows locally. That is not nice. We don't want to see many longs entering at this point. And if it does continue to enter longs on the bouncers, then eventually that does have the possibility of, you know, moving lower eventually. If we get little bounces here, move downs, and we get more longs entering on Bybit, it's just going to make the price weaker and weaker and weaker. So we don't want to see those longs if we want to see a bounce on the price action here for Bitcoin. Okay, we do not want longs piling up here. So yeah, a little bit of a zone that I would not be too interested in doing anything. We love liquidity grabs, we love SFPs. This is a difficult zone to speculate on a higher low. Shorts, preferably shorts, would have been here in this area. Okay, SFP would have been the best option. I would have considered getting into that SFP of this lower high, as explained yesterday, but we missed it by $1. So any shorts in this zone, not really that interested. I would either be more interested in a long position on the double bottom, sweep up the lows, get acceptance, long. Target zone would be this mini range highs of the last few days. That would be my target zone. Okay, this is the kind of long that I would be looking at here if we do get the reaction. Okay, if we break down, then obviously we let the price go. We'll have some more information eventually in the next coming days throughout the weekend. Fridays are a little bit tricky. Fridays do feel a little bit more bearish most of the times. Okay, so it is true that on a Friday, getting into a long as we are dumping or SFPing from a low could be a little bit challenging. You know, Fridays are not the best days of the week to consider a major rally. I mean, before the end of Friday, it should get the bounce before entering into the weekend, if that is the case. If the bounce would be very, very poor throughout Friday, throughout the next coming hours, eventually, you know, would say that, you know, I want to close that position, you know, either stop at break even, right? Because it would look weak for a Friday evening, right? To get into a long position. Fridays sometimes are a little bit bearish. So for shorts, for any new shorts, any new short positions, I would want to be a little bit aware if the price would get a bounce to these lower highs, because if the price does manage to form a higher low in this region and get some movement to the upside, I'm a little bit aware of a larger three waver, right? Maybe get the breakout in a wave 3, or maybe form a wave C. However, the wave C usually does like to extend a little bit longer, all right, than your wave A. So it would be a little bit of a tricky. You got a little bit of a deformed inverted head and shoulder here. It's a little bit deformed, I have to say. So an SFP here at this neckline, which has been tested twice, it could get a shallow pullback. It could be a little scalp attempt, but eventually you could form another higher low here, right, and pop out. So would be aware of this SFP. It can be treated as a quick little scalp, possibly down to the VWAP, just to form a higher low, right? If the VWAP is coming in this zone, would be the best area for a little scalp, in my opinion. Sweep some lower highs that we do have here. So yeah, that's a little bit of what we got here in this range. The possibility of a correction, or the possibility of a contracting diagonal, which could form the zigzag move to the upside. So if we were to form a higher low here and move to the upside, we want to be aware of the golden pocket, and also the yearly level, which is slightly above the golden pocket, right? Yearly level, we did manage to kind of break out a little bit here. We SFP'd of the range highs, right, which is this one right over here. Okay, we did manage to get into that swing failure pattern, and this would be an interesting zone of rejection at the golden pocket yearly level, around about the 93k zone. Would be interesting to see this area, how it does react. Just in case this is a contracting diagonal, You got the yearly level golden pocket. This could be the zone where the price could get a rejection. So it's an interesting zone. No major SFPs, no major big levels. There is a point of control which is slightly above at 93.7, slightly above the yearly level. Golden pocket 7-8 would be an interesting area of a rejection, I have to say, if the price does manage to form a zigzag to the upside. Okay, if this is a contracting diagonal to the downside and it's not a correction WXY double zigzag, and it is that diagonal, it is quite more common to get a zigzag to the upside. So golden pocket to the 7-8, back testing the yearly level. There's a naked point of control at 93.5k. It is a area of resistance for a local rejection. I know if the price does get all the way up there, you might think, well, it's just going to take out the highs, right? But there is some resistance here for a rejection. Yearly level for a back test, naked point of control slightly above us. It would be nice to get the Fibonacci's in confluence with this zone, but they're a little bit separated. But understanding a possible, C wave extension here, it won't be easy for the execution, of course, if that is the case, that we do get up there. Not going to be an easy trade like the SFP from yesterday. So yeah, that's a little bit here of what we got. Obviously understanding the danger of rolling over. Okay, we're just looking at the possibilities of this range if we do continue the range entering into the weekend. And we want to be extremely cautious because the multiple 1-2 to the downside, the range point of control, this is literally as well why we're getting supported and getting resistance at the $91,500, because it is also the range point of control, right, of this entire zone, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, counting this price action as well. So that high volume node is acting as resistance, as we can see here. So we've been literally back testing this on yesterday's pump and even early this morning. So it is a little bit of a back test at resistance, kind of acceptable for the short trade yesterday. You can see how we broke that point of control and we've been back testing the level, right? Big level, high volume node from November and December, which literally was getting back tested with the movement here to the upside from yesterday. Preferably SFPs just give you the entry, right? I was in favor of the possibility of a rejection on an SFP from here yesterday, but we didn't quite reach that level. But we did back test that range point of control. So yeah, for new shorts, I would be a little bit cautious on the SFP. I would literally look for shorts at higher prices, because if this turns out to form a higher low, we just need to be aware of the 3-wave move. It could break out in a 3rd wave, right? And it gets really, really punchy, volume increases. It is Friday. You wouldn't expect that volatility. You would just expect Friday to just be a bit bearish coming into the weekend. I wouldn't expect a major recovery here, but it's still, the charts are the charts, so we need to take it into consideration here that they could get that recovery, of course. And an SFP is not that attractive after having the double test here, double test with yesterday or early this morning. Another test is like really pushing it, right? Really, really pushing it. A little bit of an inverted head and shoulder scenario. Does look like it could squeeze out. So one test is fine for an SFP. But another one, considering the 3-wave move, I don't like it too much. Yesterday it looked okay, but today I'm just very much aware of the C wave, the 3rd wave potential, right? So it's not an interesting SFP today. It's not an interesting rejection for me today here. Yesterday was acceptable. Today, not that acceptable based on the information, based on the 3-waver that could get that pop out. So it becomes a little bit of a danger zone here where price could push up, you know, another $1,000, $1,500 easily, in my opinion. Not the best level today, unfortunately. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a 4-hourly time frame, guys. Today is a special day. As you can see, I'm going to go through the comment section right away. But as you can see, you can DM me directly on Telegram today, because you can get a free month in the trading community. Okay, make sure to send promo directly, okay, into the Telegram. As you can see, you have it in the pinned comment as well, guys. All right, and you can get a free month in the community, right? The trading community. Make sure to do so if you are interested in that. You have the Telegram open right now to get those DMs sent, and we'll sort you out. Okay, let's go through the comment section. There's not liquidity building up below 89k, which is pulling down prices. There is a lot of liquidity, right? Emperor, you're damn right. You're damn right, I have to say, right? Being bullish here is kind of a little bit foolish, right? It's a little bit foolish here to be bullish. Come on. There is a huge amount of liquidity coming down to $86,000. It's going to roll over, right? I would say. No need to do any analysis in this zone. It's bearish. You need to live with it. Too much liquidity down here. Yeah, I feel that. I really do feel that. For sure. This is really a bit of a danger zone to expect any solid bounces. Any solid bounces here. It is a bit of a danger zone. We want to be extremely cautious if I wanted to re-enter a long position if we test the recent lows here. I have to say, a little bit of a dangerous area. We don't have much support. Lots of liquidity coming down into this zone. It is one of those areas that you would expect a little bit of a waterfall. You would expect a little bit of a waterfall here in this zone. So we're going to take that with a very with a small pinch of salt, we'll say, right? If we were to get that double bottom here, wick the lows and get that recovery back to the highs. You know, we don't need to come there tonight. We could maybe form a flat structure, sweep up the highs, squeeze out some late shorts, and then come down. This is why the flat, or even form a zigzag up. You know, I'm still in the long, and I would still want to participate in a new long if we were to get a reaction at the lows. Because we know the deal. Then the price forms a higher low, and then, well, I got someone here on the comment section yesterday saying that he shorted somewhere at the $91,300, I think, somewhere in this region, and he did take profit and he got stopped out at break even. Not sure if he's here today, can't remember the name, but he was pissed off because he should have taken more profits, right? And you need a, you know, depending on your analysis, I do know that there is the potential of forming a higher low. And if we do sweep up the lows and then get acceptance, I would want to re-enter safely with good risk management on the double bottom. But if I took all of the profits yesterday on the pump and you know, the price forms a higher low and, you know, takes out the highs here at 91,500, goes to 92 or maybe 93, I would be pissed off of not having part of that position still open here to, you know, maybe, you know, maximize a little bit of those profits. We'll see here how this develops. Of course, we come in here very, very low to this zone, and if we come as low as here, I think we're gonna just take out the lows very, very possibly. Let me know if you're feeling bearish, if you're feeling bullish in the comment section. We're going to take a look here at the higher time frame. I think it's about time to analyze the different movements that could develop, of course, on the higher time frame. And just be aware, the liquidity pocket is here. I think this could be an area which looks very, very interesting for a swing long. I would want to see a movement down, if I'm honest. I think there is a good swing long potential round about the 86k zone. There could be a very, very good swing long potential here if the price comes down and sees a bit of proof of support and exhaustion. We're gonna have to see. Just because we have that liquidity pocket, it is the point of control value area low of this entire range. We can actually pack all of this into a range right now, and the high volume node value area low is coming in at 86k. Point of control here a little bit more at 87.5k, but it would just be interesting area. I mean, I would expect a pretty successful local SFP of 86,400 if we were to come down here. It's an area that I would say it's looking pretty interesting for the swing failure pattern. We also have the higher low support trend, right, for that kind of fake out situation. So get supported from the trend line or create that fake out situation. So it's an interesting zone for an SFP. I like these higher lows for the SFP. I will definitely consider this on the higher time frame. So we're going to have to see how the price develops, of course, throughout maybe the next coming hours, next couple of days. But when we consider simple levels analysis, sweep of liquidity, we understand that liquidity is looking so disturbing on the chart, right? It is disturbing the amount of liquidity that we have here at below 87k. And so kind of wicking that liquidity makes sense just to stop all of those longs and then enter into a new fresh long once the longs are out of the market, right? Because that's what we like to see, right? You want all of the longs out of the market so you can enter a long, or you want all of the shorts out of the market, right, to enter a short, which is, you know, lots of shorts piling up here in this zone throughout this range, which kind of makes sense because throughout the last few weeks, we only had this information, right? We had the movement to the upside. Over here, a bit of a bear flag situation, right? Naturally, on the break of trend, right? Looking at basic stuff here. Naturally, on the break of trend, you are going to see some people shorting here without a doubt, right? It's inevitable. People want to put stop losses either above the trend, right, or above the high here of the range. It's just, you know, how classic is this? We're breaking the bear flag, mate, and we're going to come down to the lows, right? It's what a lot of people would expect here with this movement. So naturally, you're going to see some stops, you know, in the market with the breakout. It's just stop them out. Stop the shorts to then roll over, right? So with this recent move, when we consider liquidity, you know, we got a little bit of hyped up long positions eventually building up with this momentum, expecting 100k, right? We're going to get the breakout. This is it. Price is going to leave without you. And naturally, you're going to see that liquidity stack up here beneath the higher lows. So it's all about, you know, getting those stops before getting a possible bounce, a bigger bounce, right? Then this bounce, will it be bullish or not? When we take a look at Elliott Wave theory, there is that possibility of a flat structure here being developed, not finishing the WXY. So in this scenario, you have the zigzag to the upside, complex WXY here, finishing your X wave, and then the move up, possibly the move down, and in an ABC flat, right, you see the B wave most commonly hit the lows of the A wave, right, which is where we have that liquidity stacked. A flat here is still a possibility. So you're stopping all of the shorters, you're stopping all of the longs, you're getting more shorts entering on the rollover, saying this is it, we go down, right? And then suddenly you take out above 95k again, 94. So just a complex range, and this could be coming to the end stages, of course. And a flat, when we talk about higher time frame possibilities, and considering the liquidity, we had so much liquidity last week, right? In this zone, there was a lot of liquidity at 92, 93, 94, especially above these highs, right? Which were swept with that movement, right? All of this liquidity we can see, right? So sweep the liquidity of shorts, sweep the liquidity of longs, and then get the bounce. Absolutely, when we consider it's a liquidity game, and when we focus here on the possibility of Elliott Wave theory, if we were to come down here, there is a combination of your Y wave maybe being a flat. Sweep the highs, sweep the lows. It would be a swing long attempt. So as you get the reaction, if you did not catch the ultimate low at 86.4 SFP, right, and you put your stop a few $100s beneath the level, this could be treated as a swing trade as well. If you get acceptance above the high and a nice little bounce after sweeping the lows here below 87k, right, might get to 85.5k, but overall stop loss beneath the recent lows and give an attempt here to take out the highs again. You know, I would say that there could be an acceptable long trade to take out 94.5k. And maybe stretch, you know, maybe this flat structure could stretch its legs. If it were to be an expanding flat, it has the potential of hitting the 1.618 extension, which, you know, would be coming up to almost 100k, depending on where the low is of your B wave. So an expanding flat to hit on 1.618 extension could be a possibility. So it's a swing trade idea, and it's a liquidity idea here. I know nobody wants to long when the price is like, come on, bro, it's bearish. We are breaking down. This is going to be the one. This one did not succeed, okay, but this one is definitely coming down now to the lows of 80k, right? If it was not this one, which was a little bit of a trappy situation, it swept the highs, it has to be this one, right? I would say, well, this is the decision zone. Sweep that liquidity reaction. There is a flat scenario here, and this just really extends. It just extends the range. So I like that idea as a swing long scenario. Of course, the people that entered some shorts here at the 94k area as the SFP, I have to say congrats. You know, it's actually this is like the meat and potatoes. You know, this is just a solid SFP of the range highs. Kind of too easy to be true. It could be interesting because there has been some shorts entering. You know, there is liquidity up there. Right? I know we're focusing on the liquidity to the downside, at 87, 86k. But there is significant liquidity up. There has been shorts piling up here after testing this high. And shorts have been piling up. I can tell you. We can see it on the liquidity. People are hyped up for the breakdown. Now, yes, right? We've tested the highs. And, you know, shorts have been piling up. We've still left some liquidity here at 96, 90, you know, 95, 96k zone. So if you did short, I would say, you know, I would consider, obviously, scratching some profits inevitably, right? If you did manage to trade the short here a few days ago at 94k, just understanding that the scenario here of breaking down with the local structure is, you know, I have some doubts. I think there could be a bigger range developed throughout the weekend and a bit of a more of a bounce. Get above 91,500. I think we could still chop around here in this zone. And then we, you know, we'll have a little bit of more idea that if this is going to actually roll over or actually, you know, coming up and take out 94.5k again. But it's too soon here. Too soon to really say the proper direction, like move down or move up. Too soon. This movement is still fresh. The idea of bouncing in this zone was correct from yesterday, and I do think that this range could still continue at least for the next couple of days, maybe entering into the weekend, and probably not getting that volatile move to the downside today, or a volatile move up right to 95k. I don't think it's going to happen today, if I'm honest. I think we could be a little bit rangy in this structure with the possibility of getting a little bit more of a bounce. So yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. But the better short, in my opinion, as a swing trade, I mean, this was a little swing trade. I mean, it is moved down $4,000. We're getting a bit of support here. There is the potential of continuing the bounce, and maybe the bounce actually being a little bit powerful. It could happen. We could move up here to this zone throughout the next coming days, I have to say, based on the local structure that doesn't look impulsive. It does, you know, either a contracting diagonal, which could bring a zigzag structure to the golden pocket, maybe the 7-8 of this movement down, right? And everybody like, whoops, you know, maybe this could be the lower high to get into a short in the next coming days if we do manage to get to 93k zone. We'll have to see how we get up there, and if we get some choppiness, you know, we could consider that rollover, but we need that information, of course, still. But the much better short position, in my opinion, is getting to the 100k level, 100 to 102k. It kind of fits nice. We got the 50 weekly moving average, of course, coming in at 102k, which is exactly at the equilibrium, which is the 50% Fibonacci, right? Just slightly above from the 50 weekly moving average, 103k. And when we do combine the possibilities of the WXY, instead of forming a flat, getting a zigzag move to the upside would be quite interesting. I think it would be a movement that not many people would expect, to get that, you know, higher low in this region, right? A higher low from these lows and get a move above 95k with the potential of going to the 100k region. I think it seems like not real at this point, right? It's like, this ain't gonna happen. Come on, you know, there's liquidity here, right? The most interesting swing short position is without a doubt at this zone, well, not this one, sorry, you know, more into the 100k zone. There is the possibility of that zigzag move to the upside here, where you have already your move up in your wave A, your wave B potentially getting developed, still getting developed, right? This could still very much range a little bit, and then get a bit of a powerful move. I know it sounds a little bit unrealistic Because if you're bearish, you're bearish. If you're bullish, you're bullish. If you're bullish, you're gonna like it. If you're bearish, you're not. But when we go with the fib targets of the WXY, we got the pivot low of wave W to the end of wave W to the end of wave X. And you know what is interesting is your fib targets for your Y wave, which is the 1-to-1 to the 1236 extension when you consider a double zigzag. And this is actually the 1-to-1 to the 1236 is coming in between 100k and 103k, where you have that 50 weekly moving average, which it kind of likes to back test after the breakdown bear market, that larger relief rally to come up to this zone and then get everybody very excited, even though we did get people excited last week, right, with the rally, or well, literally, yeah, last week it was, with this rally that just tested the highs and, you know, obviously got the correction here the last few days. But the main reason why this would be such an interesting shorting zone at the 100k level as a swing short, I would say that a decent move down would happen after a few days, even a couple of weeks from here. It would be a swing short position, is because the probabilities of really getting something very bullish from here to break in a wave 3, right, and bull run continues, right, or we go to all-time high in the next coming months, is unlikely. And the probabilities of rejection here, and this being corrective, okay, just because the bullish moves from here to here to here to here, you know, for this to be a 1 and 2, it's very, very low probability. We got a contracting diagonal right over here, leading diagonal, that would be in a wave 1. There's the correction, another wave 1 and 2 here. Your wave 2 is like really long and choppy. It's just not the highest probability to get that extreme bullish breakout, right, to 105, 110k in the next coming weeks. So if we were to get that rally above 95k, shorts are looking very, very, you know, start looking for shorts depending on how we're moving up there. We will be looking for the exhaustion eventually. If we were to rally, right, and like 1, 2, 1, 2, boom, boom, boom in the next coming days, then we get a big wave 3, then 4 and 5, 4 and 5, right? We do get an impulse here that we can count a solid C wave, A, B, C. We'll be getting ready at the exhaustion. At the exhaustion here, where you have your 4 and 5 coming into the resistance and the target zones of your possible double zigzag. This is going to be the epic short if we were to move like this, right, in the next 1 to 2 weeks. We're going to have to see. I have to say it is still very much an available scenario, even though you don't like it, you don't believe it till you see it, right? So it is still the possibility to happen. It's still possible. And the movement down, as explained, is not looking too promising for it to be bearish as a start of a successful multiple 1-2 scenario, right? And then break down in a third wave to just follow with your 4 and 5s as an impulse. Doesn't look too great. So you need to give it a chance, right? This is why it's actually not looking too bad here for the SFP of yesterday. A higher low. I mean, I know it's kind of, it is challenging to get into a higher low here. It is a little bit challenging, but getting a little bit of a bounce now. Let's go through the comment section right away. Who's bearish? I'm wearing bear costume for the party. Path Mariayakos, much love. Mariela, thanks for joining Crypto Cowboys. Let's go, let's go. I'm on my party outfit. Happy Friday. Let's go, let's go. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, guys. Let's go through the comment section, guys. Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the live stream today on a Friday evening. Hope you got some plans. You're meeting friends or family, having a drink, going out, having a good time, enjoying life, and not only sitting, right, watching some random YouTube guy, you know, looking at the charts of Bitcoin, trying to predict where the market's going to move. Nobody knows, right? Who's this dude on YouTube who's trying to, you know, figure out what's going to happen? What a joke, right? Well, we can have some ideas, right? We know the setups, we know the risk management. We don't know exactly, you know, what's going to happen, but we can have some ideas, right? And we know how to get into positions and then manage risk. Stop losses will be hit, right? But we just manage risk, and we look at different projections that could develop eventually, right? And that's what we do. We want Cowboy Andy. I do have the hat somewhere here. Cowboy Andy, do we get the hat on? Because it is Friday, it's time for the hat. Let me just get the hat, guys, as we do get the like button destroyed, and we'll get through the comment section. Okay, let me just go around, get a drink of water, and get my cowboy hat, and we'll analyze here the little bit more of Bitcoin, but ultimately go through the comment section. Whoever's still in that long position from yesterday. SFP. This is a bit of a brave long, I have to say. Bit of a brave long for a higher low here. But yeah, I liked the idea that the range was going to continue and maybe maybe take out these highs at 91.5, just because this doesn't look too bearish. So let me just go around the table, then I'll go through the comment section, legends. Let's go. Ahora sí. Ahora sí. All right. Let's go through comment section. Now it's about time. Still holding. Let's take a look at the poll right away to see how many people were actually more bearish, more bullish, right? Do we take out 95K first, or do we take out 86K first? 46% of people out of 600 votes, 47% says 95K, 53% says 86K. It is a little bit of a battle here. We've got a 50-50 in the comment section. Of course, the bears do have their reasons to look for this 86K zone, right? Where we do have that huge amount of liquidity. There's liquidity up as well. The more TA guys that are looking more local price action, understanding the movement to the downside, does realize that this movement to the downside doesn't have very much power for it to be the start of an impulse, right? If it is going to be a finished motive wave to the downside, the best scenario that fits in here is a contracting diagonal. But contracting diagonals do not have the highest probability against a corrective structure. So multiple 1-2s don't fit in nicely. A solid impulse does not fit in nicely. Does it have the chance for it to be corrective? Absolutely, it does. Nice little pump here on the price of Bitcoin, going through the levels, moving up, still remaining in that long position. Almost wanted to get me out here of the position. Almost wanted to get me out on that position of yesterday of SFP. Can this be turned into a swing long position? We take out 95K in the next coming days. Maybe it's worth definitely having some of that long position open, just in case the price does decide that it wants to pop out. So it does look like it wants to form that third wave to the upside. This SFP for me is not looking that attractive, especially with this candlestick the SFP, inverted humpback Notre Dame, inverted head and shoulder right there. A bit of a humpback Notre Dame, inverted head and shoulder. SFP from here yesterday was looking interesting. Today, not that much, based on the third wave move that could either be a C or a wave 3 if the momentum does push aggressively. This long position was a little bit challenging, I have to say. It was a little bit challenging to get into a long here, but obviously getting into the low here. The problem with this movement to the downside, it is true that it was looking a little bit corrective. It was looking a little bit corrective, I have to say, because you had this movement down. It looked very three wavy. You got moved down, consolidation. The third move, which got a bounce to overlap the pivot low. So you can't, you're already looking at this very, very possibly to be a three waver, with obviously the possibility of being a corrective move to the downside. Interesting where we at the moment. So obviously no SFP from this level, especially with this candle. This candle does look a little bit powerful with some pretty interesting volume. Let's see if we do get some momentum here. Hacia arriba. Vámonos. Venga. To the moon. Do we have some levels of resistance in this zone? Previous day value area high, attempt of breakout here. Previous day point of control, previous day value area high. This is literally where we opened and the price got rejected, and the price is trying to squeeze out from previous day value levels. Today's price action, previous day value area low, providing the support. We got Mariella being bearish. I know Mariella got into a successful short on Tuesday with that lower high. Absolutely wonderful, Mariella. I hope you did collect some of the profits on that short position. I did not short here throughout the beginning of the week. Hopefully you did collect some significant profits. I know you are feeling a little bit bearish based on that liquidity that we have to the downside. Let's go through the comment section. Say hello. New all-time high incoming. Yeah, we do get excited with that little pump, right? Tariff decision delayed. Yeah, I've heard some news about the tariff. Also being kind of illegal. It's delayed. No tariffs to be created. It's not possible. And this is obviously going to be a reset, right, for the market. And we get some bullish momentum. So yeah, I've heard about this tariff, and it would be a reset. To get some bullish momentum. Since you put on your lucky hat, BTC started pumping. Very true. I just put the hat on and we started pumping aggressively. I not in a short position. Took 70% profit from the 94.5k short. Absolute legend, Mariella. Divine Hood, that's a snazzy hat you have there. Looking good, Andy. Divine Hood, much love to you. Much love to you, brother. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Guys, remember that we do have the launch of the new trading community. Okay, we are looking into a very, very pro trader as well that's probably going to start with us very, very soon. We'll see. We're getting a deal with him. We want to form the powerhouse here. Of course, we've combined all of the products in one, and you can get a free month, guys. Make sure to check out the first link. You can DM me directly on Telegram just with the code promo, as you can see, to get 1 free month, okay, in the trading community, just so you can see what it's all about. If you like it, if you can see the education and the good setups, you have your chance right now. Of course, you got it in the pinned comment as well, guys. Okay, so make sure to send me that message if you are interested in getting that free month in the trading community. I got literally stopped out at $0.1. I am the bad luck itself. I almost got stopped out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay. There'll be more information. Now the question here is going to be this movement to the upside. If we slow down, we got a few options here. Obviously, this move is too fresh to the upside. Not that interested as explained on the SFP yesterday. An SFP would have been okay, which, you know, you got your first move up to test the level. When you get the third wave move to the upside, you have the risk, obviously, of breaking out, of forming that third wave either in a wave 3 or a wave C. We don't know exactly what wave it's going to be, but this is why shorting here is not a great idea. As explained, this has high probability to be a finished movement, a finished wave, based on the information that we have. Getting into the long SFP yesterday was good confluence. It was a good entry. It's a good setup. The long here was not easy, I have to say. However, if you do expect a 3-wave move, you need to hold the golden pocket 7/8 Fibonacci. If you're expecting a higher low, it kind of needs to hold this zone, which, you know, was also possible. It's challenging. Of course, a flat was also a possibility. You just need to accept that if you enter along here, you need to have some kind of a stop loss. You can't have a stop loss here unless you're targeting 95k, which we don't know if it's going to happen, right? So, you know, SFP for me was the best option just for the risk management. Stop loss is extremely small. It's just it was just a very good trade on the SFP of yesterday, and shorts were not that interested. I missed the short in this zone. We back up. We didn't get an SFP, so anybody that shorted today should have treated this movement as a day trade, especially realizing this movement that we had, which was a bit of a 3-wave move to the downside. We got this bounce. If this were to be some kind of an impulse, you would want to see that little wave 4 and then 5, and then the bounce might have been looking bearish, right? If you had a solid impulsive move here, but you literally had a 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th, you know, overlapping this pivot, which converts this movement in a possible correction. So obviously you have the double zigzag risk for that ABC flat, something that you need to be aware. But what this means is that you're likely going to continue the range, which was expected. You know, breaking down here with a big move, you always need to understand the risk that it is possible, but the probabilities were low, at least for the moment, based on this likely being a finished structure. This is likely being a finished structure. Okay, and just to add that education, multiple 1-2s here was not looking too great. They're very uneven, right? You know, this one's longer than the first one. This one is, you know, also pretty steep and long. The lower high that was formed right over here was very deep, coming almost to the start of this movement down, if this we were considering being an impulse. So what makes more sense on this movement to the downside is that it's either a contracting diagonal. We're gonna have to see, guys, here in the next couple of days entering into the weekend, because if we do get a lot of choppiness, you know, this wave kind of fails, gets a big move down very close to the lows, then gets another bounce, you know, and then throughout the weekend we are literally trading still in this area after this third wave failing to continue to the upside, then I would say I would be happy to look for maybe shorts here before the start of the week, right? We're gonna have to see, because I would realize that this is likely corrective. Only if we get this movement down very, very close, or even hitting these lows, these higher lows. And obviously any bounce, any range throughout, you know, maybe entering into Sunday, we can consider that, you know, it's finally going to move down. So it all has to do with this wave, the information of this wave. Can it continue, or can it be a double 1-2, 1-2? If we move down, if we fail from here, doesn't matter. It all depends on this movement. If we are going to do this to the downside, 1-2, 1-2 is on the cards here. If the movement down gets to these lows, or very close to these lows, then obviously the probabilities of this being corrective could be quite high. I mean, we could still consider the flat, but I wouldn't consider the flat just because you already hit the 7-8 Fibonacci from this move. So if you come down to hit the lows, yeah, this would be a little bit of a steep flat. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see here, of course, based on the information that is given on the price action. You know, it either follows throughs. Okay, we get follow through. It is common for a C wave to hit the 1-to-1, which we did just hit. So we hit the 1-to-1 extension, right? 1-to-1 extension at 91,900 is exactly from here to here to here. 1-to-1 being tapped, getting a little bit of a rejection at the moment. Devil does like to look at these levels as entry zones. I do know that. I do know that Devil likes to kind of sniper here for these pivots. Maybe he was considering this sniper 1-to-1 extension, just for an entry, like a very, very aggressive entry, of course. But yeah, we're gonna have to see. This is a little bit too fresh of a move. Let's take a look at Fibonacci from the highs to the lows. 50% has not been hit. Yeah, two options here. Bit of an SFP at the moment with the one extension being hit. Not a bad idea to collect a little bit of profits, I have to say. Anybody that's long, you know, if we do not get this third wave popping out very aggressively, if you are long from yesterday, yeah, with this rejection, with this rejection, you would consider eventually collecting a bit of profits if this third wave did not succeed to go to higher levels, pushing through this zone, pushing through the neckline. We do have the previous week close and the previous week highs. Last week highs are literally here from Sunday, right, at 91,800. This is last week's highs on Sunday. So yeah, previous week close and highs are actually getting that resistance. Previous week close got resistance early this morning. And you know, the danger of an ABC here, I would prefer to see a little bit of follow through here to the upside. But yeah, your bearish case scenario right now would be a 5-wave move here to the downside and a contracting diagonal, and an ABC C wave would be a bit shallow here, I have to say, and then the price, you know, really starts moving down here. And then if we were to come down to the lows, it's not going to be looking too great. This would look very, very three wavy. Then the bounce could be interesting. This would be a little bit more of a confirmation, right? This would give you a little bit more confidence that this is a three-wave correction, five-wave contracting diagonal, three-wave correction. You move down to get to 89.7k region, and then the bounce, if the bounce is going to be very, very choppy and overlappy, that would be the decision moment to see if it is going to roll over. But for a bearish confirmation, I mean, this is the thing. If you don't get into the exact highs at a rejection, I didn't short here. I'm collecting a little bit of profit, but could be a sniper end. It could have been a sniper entry. I did not catch this, guys. Just for the entry, 1-to-1 was tapped to the dollar. Devil does sometimes provide these setups when he looks at a three-wave potential target for either a C wave, either at the 1-to-1 or the 1-2-3-6. He does consider these as sniper entries, and we just tapped the exact 1-to-1 here from this movement. So this wave is the exact length as this one for the moment, right? It just gives you a good entry and a good stop loss. If you do tap it and reject, you need to be very much ready for that scenario, right? It wasn't a level that I had here ready for a short, I have to say. The bullish case scenario, this is too fresh, of course. We've had a nice move with volume to the upside. It's not all doom and gloomy here, right? Where, maybe it's not bearish. As mentioned, the bullish case scenario, this could still be developing a third wave. It's just the initial leg, the initial stages. So it's literally too soon here to say this is bearish, this is a lower high. We would get a little bit more confirmation throughout the next coming days, throughout the weekend, and I will do a Sunday live stream, of course. I will be updating the community inevitably throughout the information that we get on the weekend. But if the price decides to move down to these higher lows, even though a flat could be possible, where you have your wave one, a flat, and then it just rallies later throughout, maybe entering into Sunday. It's super important to figure out here, if it comes down to the lows, if this bounce is going to be extremely overlapping, then that would be the golden ticket. Because, when you have a possible five-wave move to the downside, catching the C wave, you either need to catch the 1-to-1, maybe the rejection of, in this case, the previous week high. Try and get in at the highest level possible on the C wave is challenging. It is very, very challenging to try and catch, right? It's going to be a C wave. It's going to be a three-wave structure. We're going to roll over later. It is challenging to catch the exact high. However, if this movement down is going to be bearish, if it is going to be a bearish impulsive move to the, a motive wave here and a leading diagonal, and this is going to be a wave one, a wave two, and then you expect the wave three here, or an A wave, B wave, and then C wave to claim that liquidity below $87,000, right? Which we're all looking at. If everybody's looking at it, it might not happen, right? So there will be a better short, in my opinion, instead of trying to catch like the C wave, right? The three wave top right there. And the moment it's going to give you a little bit of higher probability and a bit more confidence to get into that short position is when this third wave fails and gets a steep pullback down, pretty impulsive, potentially claiming those higher lows. Because then the only option for this to be bullish would be an ABC flat, right? Where this would be your wave one, and this would be your A wave, your B wave, and this your C wave. We think it's bearish, but it's an ABC flat, and then this rallies later on. And it sweeps the highs, it sweeps the lows. Oh, this has to be bearish. This is a three-wave structure, and it ends up being an ABC flat. So the bounce is going to be the most important price action to see if it is going to be more corrective or impulsive to the upside. If it is overlappy and it's very, very choppy, it's a bit of a bear flag literally, right, from the movement down, this would be the golden ticket for the short, because literally this would be your possible wave 1, your possible wave 2, and then it's 3, 4, 5, right? Ultimately what you're looking at is for the larger 3-wave to the downside here, but you need your first 1 and 2. You need your first 1 and 2. Eventually the third wave is developed by 5 waves. So what you want to get into on the third wave, preferably with higher probabilities, is the lower time frame wave 2. When you zoom out on the 1 hourly time frame, it's going to look more as a 3-waver, and when you zoom in on the 15-minute time frame, you're going to see the internal waves, right, of the lower time frame. So this third wave, right, needs to have 5 waves, and now is what we would have to see, right? But this would be like the moment to jump in on the downtrend to possibly get down below 87k, to sweep up that liquidity, you know, beneath these higher lows. But this would give you a little bit of more confirmation, a little bit of more confidence, and the idea here eventually, after getting that movement down and sweeping up those lows of today, would be really looking for that bounce. 50% golden pocket, your invalidation would be the local highs, and then this is your short to look for 87 minus 87k, right? 87, 86 would be your target zone literally. Yeah, this would literally be the higher probability short. We need a strong rejection, and the bounce is going to be very, very interesting. So that would be the highest probability entry if you believe that this is bearish, because we still very much have the bullish scenario, unfortunately. But this is the kind of price action that I really like, because, you know, depending on what we get, here in the next couple of days, entering into the weekend, it's easier to spot what is higher probability. It is easier to spot, because we do understand that this would be either a leading diagonal. Okay, fine, wave 1 or wave A. 3-wave for the moment. So now it's either double 1, 2, breaks out. Maybe this is just getting a little quick correction before continuing up. This could still be the wave C. It could still be the wave 3. You know, it's very, very soon here. Still to say this is the top, it's going to roll over now, right? Claim the lows and go to lower prices, right? That's what we would want, right? If you're in that short position at the moment, you would want the big volatile move down, but it's not always what we want, right? We need to trade the chart that we have, and catching the high here, unless you're ready with that 1-to-1 extension, right? Or with the rejection from previous week highs, then, you know, I'm not a fan of shorting here once we got the rejection, right? I'm not shorting here unless I catch the high. I would either need to wait for that movement down to claim these lows, and then the bounce that happens here would be the entry zone, because I realize that, okay, this bounce is just likely going to be a correction. This would be the preferred movement to the downside, corrective move up, your first leg to the downside, and then it ends up breaking down right throughout end of Sunday or entering into Monday. So we need that movement down, invalidate the possibility of this being a start of a bullish move to the upside. And then this would be, you know, instead of trying to get into the exact, you know, high of the C wave, right? If we are going to be basically looking at this to be an ABC, instead of trying to catch the ultimate high right? And say, okay, you know, I'm going to take the chance here. Let's see if this is the top of the C wave, and we start an impulsive move here throughout the next coming days. Then the safer way is waiting for the big move down, and then the bounce is the one that you would want to, you know, join later at some point, right? Regardless if you sweep the lows or this low or even this low. But the bounce is the one that looks interesting. So instead of trying to catch the C wave high, which you need to have the 1-to-1 extension or a good level of confluence, previous week high, you know, 1.236 extension from your A wave. You can get them in if you're ready, right? Just to get an awesome entry, right? It's just a sniper trade, right? 1-to-1 or 1.236. One of them I'm going to enter. You always have that possible option if you're ready and you're in front of the chart to do so. And if not, the other option would be waiting for the movement down, right? Price usually gets some bounces, right, after a movement, and then if you do get that bounce here throughout the next coming days after a sharp move to the downside, then eventually stop loss at the high, entry zone at the bounce, and then you're targeting here the 87k 86k zone, right? Not going to give you the best entry, but it gives you a little bit of more confidence that you're like confirming that, yeah, this bounce is likely bearish, 3-wave corrective structure instead of something bullish, sharp move down on the rejection at this moment. Pretty nasty sharp move down here. Lots of longs entering here. Let's take a look at Bybit. Pretty decent shorts entering right now. Yeah, 17 million longs on Bybit just 30 minutes ago, wanting to break out from those highs. And now pretty decent rejection here. Not enough. This is the kind of movement down that I would not enter a short at this point, unless you entered a short, you know, either at the 1-to-1 or the 1.236. You know, for me, this is a miss short. You know, no, at least for me anyway. So we'd have to claim these higher lows, because that would give me a little bit of more confirmation that, okay, you know, this is, yeah, that's it. This is likely a 3-wave structure. And depending on the information that we get, if the bounce is very, very choppy, right, doesn't manage to follow through, then yeah, this is going to be that's going to be the shorting zone for me. And I'll give a little bit of a wider stop. We'll just increase the probabilities, of course, of breaking down. So it does make sense if you did long yesterday to take profits here on the rejection. It does make sense, just considering the bearish case. So anybody that did long either the SFP of yesterday or, you know, decided to enter long here, if you SFP from the range highs, considering that this could be a 3-waver, if you reject and don't get follow through from this neckline, you want to collect some of those profits eventually if you did get into that long, because you're rejecting from the neckline, right? So I did collect a little bit more of the profits from the long, just because a bit of a sharp rejection at the moment from the local highs. Let's go through the comment section right away, guys. Remember that Bluffin is a highly liquid exchange. You got one of the insanest bonuses available. You do get VIP 1, okay, on Bluffin, and also up to 9,400 in deposit rewards. Okay, deposit rewards is $1,000. If you deposit 10k, you're getting $1,000. The more you trade, the more rewards you're going to get, airdrops for your trading. And of course, if you are interested in joining the community, you have the link down below, guys. DM me, all right, on Telegram with the word promo to get 1 month free, okay, in the trading community. All right, if you're interested in that, make sure to send me that DM right away. You got it in the pinned comment or the first link, okay? Have a look at CBD, brother. Much love. I played tennis today with CBM and almost got him. I almost got him. Let's take a look at CBD divergence, see what's going on. Lots of longs entering again here on Bybit. Just very recently, CBD. We do have a bit of a mixed sentiment here with CBD. Lots of shorts entering right now on US dollar tether on Bybit, but lots of longs on US dollar pair. So BTC perpetual here, forming some slight local bearish CBDs, slight local bearish CBD divergence. But yeah, shorts are also piling up here on some exchanges. So there's a little bit of a mixed sentiment. People longing, people shorting. Bybit longs are entering at this moment. Right now we've got a bunch of longs entering here at the lows. 1.3, 2.9, 1, 1.3. Lots of shorts entering at the highs. Lots of shorts entering here at the highs, which is not good. Look at this, we've got 1.6, not good for the bears basically. You want to see lots of longs, more longs here at the highs than shorts, where they become trapped, right? If there's a lot of shorts, we've got 4.9, 3.7, 3.3. You never want so many shorts entering here at the Pico top, because they're, you know, that's a good reason to get them wicked out. But yeah, if we do get enough longs here to look for, you know, if we get enough longs creating bearish CBDs, then a lower high is possible. But I have to say, this movement is very, very fresh. It's too fresh. You know, if you're looking for a short, you know, unless you snipe at the highs with that one-to-one extension, you know, there's no reason to do anything here, in my opinion. There's just not. This could still be the wave 3 that is just getting developed. It's too fresh for me anyway. You could still form, of course, bit of a range, and then move down is poor, forms a higher low, 1 2 1 2. If you do start correcting and ranging here in the next coming hours, not, you know, moving down pretty aggressively, then eventually, you know, the multiple 1 2 is an option. Too fresh this movement. Unless you snipe at the short, I would not be interested in either shorting or long in here. You either short the exact high at the 1-to-1 extension, or you wait for the information that we get in the next 1 to 2 days, which will give you a little bit of more of the probability side. As mentioned, if we do take out these higher lows in the next couple of days, right? Well, throughout the weekend, that's the moment where it's looking very good to continue down later on. Okay, so that's why the probabilities will increase that this is likely. I mean, there is the ABC flat scenario where you pop out wave 1, ABC flat, bang, right? This is why the bounce will be very, very crucial to analyze. You want choppiness, you want bearish CBDs, longs entering. That's going to be the signal to enter. And that would be the moment that I would be like, okay, you know, now I'm entering into the swing short to sweep up 87k. Move down aggressively, bounce not so aggressively with overlap, as explained before. And if you have bearish CBD divergence, you get a bunch of longs entering here on the movements up, forming lower highs on price action, higher highs on CBD and lower highs on price action. That's the moment that I'm going to enter that short to come and claim that liquidity at 86k. and stop loss above the recent highs is going to be enough. This would be a higher probability setup. This would be a higher probability, because I would understand that that's a finished move. This is likely a finished move, and you know, then I would be looking for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete that larger 3-wave structure, right? At the end of the day, we're looking for the 3rd wave, right? But the 3rd wave would need this information. As you get into those higher lows, the probabilities decrease for this to be something bullish, this movement to the upside that we had from yesterday's lows. So that this move down is important. We can jump in maybe later on a bounce, regardless if you take out the lows or not. It doesn't matter. The bounce is going to be interesting to just, you know, just continue that 3rd wave. So we'll see. Weekend is coming. This is too soon to say that this is a high, this is the C wave, it's going to roll over. Too soon, too soon. We've only had a fresh pump to the upside, and this, you know, obviously the bearish scenario would be expecting this 3-wave correction. We look for the rollover, but it's too fresh. The bullish scenario is still very much a possibility. As long as you maintain above this higher low, it's still very much a possibility. The moment you claim this higher low, that's the moment I'm going to say, okay guys, you know, 87k is probably going to be more likely. Then I would be very much in favor of saying, okay, we're going to come down to 80, 87, 86, claim that liquidity finally, because the bulls failed to maintain a solid structure here and have any chance of you know, forming a 1, 2, 3 or a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right, 4, 5. You know, you actually come up here later on. The moment you get very close to these lows, then it's likely that this has been a correction. So that bounce will be interesting. You know, regardless if the bounce happens here or it happens here, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what we're looking at is a 5-wave move. You know, it doesn't matter. You can short here, you can short here, right? If you can detect the lower high, you know, you don't need to short the highs, even though this was an epic short at 94.5k. It was just a really nice higher time frame swing failure pattern, right? Just anybody that shorted here, very good entry, I have to say. Stop loss at the highs of the fake out entry, move down. We are at support, so it makes sense to take some profit down here, based on the bullish case, right? Which is possible, but yeah, we will see. It's a very attractive target zone. It is a very attractive target, I know, for the bears. Whoever's short here and whoever's very bearish, you know, is definitely going to want to enter some shorts. And like, I'm going to short this bounce, right? It's just gonna be a lower high. It's too soon to know. This movement is very fresh still. The moment that it will be looking very interesting is the moment that you claim this low. There will be a bounce at some stage, regardless if it is taking out this low or this low. There will be a bounce likely happening, because you know what we would be looking at is that 5-wave move down locally here at a bare minimum, because then what we're looking for is this, right? And that 3rd wave needs to develop with 5 waves of some kind, right? So we need to claim those higher lows. I'm happy to jump in later on a short, you know, happy to jump in later, because I would know that we're likely going to move down here to the lows if we get this price action. But I have to give a chance for the bulls. This movement is very fresh for the moment. So that's my take here. on the scenarios. Let's go through the comment section. Happy Friday to everybody. Let's go. Over 500 people watching. Look at this, guys. This is insane. You can see almost 1,000 votes. We got 800 plus votes here. What comes first for Bitcoin? 95K, 50%. 86K, 50%. We're literally in the middle, right? We're literally almost in the middle here at this 90K region, 90, 91. What comes first, guys? Get your votes in here. It's a 50-50. 400 say 95, 400 people say 86. It's literally a battle between the bulls and the bears here in the comment section. Interesting to see. There's not a favorite. There's not a favorite pivot to be claimed on the votes. Not even a 51-49. Get your votes if you haven't voted yet. All right, 50-50, guys. And the question here is, do we come up to hit this zone, or do we come down to hit this zone over here? We are in the middle, literally. A bit more closer to the upside. We have a liquidity pocket here, which is very interesting. We've been talking about this in the last couple of days. The liquidity is significant below 87K. But there is enough liquidity to the upside as well to maybe go up there. And based on Elliott Wave theory, the structure here, I will know in the highest probability move, of course, in the next couple of days. Depending if we do hit that higher low and we get that bounce, then I would say, guys, it's if this bounce is choppy, it's likely going to roll over, right, and form that three waver. So the information is crucial in the next coming days to take advantage maybe of the rollover. But as explained, it's too soon here still with this fresh move to the upside. Let's go through the comment section, see what the people are saying. Meme Cat, much love. Let's go. See Marpy. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Mariela, much love. Much love to you. Trump's news might push it to 95K. Interesting. This is not a fake out. Probably BC 13 and 50 EMA are bullish, says Meme Cats. It's not bearish. It's not a fake out. Interesting. To the upside, we are getting a little bit of a rejection of the local highs. Clarity arc mark up is next. Bro, which time frame is that? We got the 15-minute time frame. We like to analyze the 15-minute time frame from the local moves that we get throughout the last couple of days, and this is the 4-hourly time frame. Okay, this is the 4-hourly. Let's go through the comment. Let's go 86K. Kind of, it's a good for a short now. Good is. I tell you when it would be a good short for me. For me is claiming these lows or getting very close to these lows, and the bounce, if it is corrective, that's the moment that I want to participate in a short. I've explained this. This would be the bounce after hitting these lows would be the short that I want to get into to claim 87, 86K. This would be the moment that I would want to get in at some stage as a swing, because I would realize that this movement is unlikely to be bullish. But yeah, this is a bit fresh, very, very fresh. I've seen movements start like this, get a rejection, and then suddenly, they just get continuation. So it's very, very soon to say that this is the C wave top ABC. Very, very soon still. Bullish scenario does also look interesting. This a possible correction NAWXY. You got your wave X being a triangle. And this, you know, maybe being a 1, 2, 3 continuation. 1, 2, 1, 2, bang, right? I have to say, corrective structures have priority to a contracting leading diagonal. They actually just by its own have priority than this, because a contracting leading diagonal has less probability than a corrective structure, which has higher probability. So I want to be cautious here on this C wave, speculating on a C wave here. Pushing back up here. Yeah, it's too soon here for any decision, guys. You know, it's just like I mentioned, I wouldn't do it. I'm not doing anything here. If I would have entered, that 1-to-1, maybe I would get stopped out here at break even. I mean, it just tapped the 1-to-1 extension. Let's take a look at the CVD. Yeah, we got some local bullish CVD divergence. Got some pretty steep lower lows from this zone. This is still the previous week close, previous week highs. Previous week close and previous week highs, which is from this range of Sunday. We got the close of Sunday and the highs of Sunday here, last Sunday that is, which did get supported and did get resistance and resistance and resistance, and it is getting reaction today with this pump here. But as explained, yeah, not the best clarity short here that I have. Unless you catch the short, I would be stopped out at break even at this point. Do you want to re-enter? Put a stop loss at the high, because it's just a quick back test bounce before we go lower. I'm not liking it too much. As mentioned, I would want to jump into the short later with a little bit more clarity. I would want to jump in on trying to detect the second wave at some point. So this would be the better short than actually, you know, trying to get the highs. Even though it is resistance, it is resistance. We can see obviously it is acting as resistance throughout the last few days. It is the previous week high, previous week close. The price is a barrier here for sure. We are getting that reaction. I likely going to take that short later on. If we are going to come down to 87, 86k, I will decide later on to get into the short. I'm not liking this one, because I'll just have higher probability on the setup, and yeah, I'll have higher probability if we do claim those higher lows. We don't need to catch them all, guys. We don't need to catch them all. That SFP from yesterday was muy buen SFP. Muy buen SFP from those higher lows. Muy bien. Shorts. Not considering it with the bullish case. I'm kind of liking the bullish case. We're leaving some of the position open, and I might join the short later on depending on the information. If we are going to roll down, there'll be weakness here, right? If the price really wants to come down to 87, 86k in the next coming days, the price will see a first rejection. It's unlikely it's going to move down in a straight line. It's likely going to move down with waves. So the wave, I need the first wave down. Then the wave bounce is the one that I would, be looking to enter the short. The weakness is what I'm looking for. And obviously the problem here with this movement, as there is a bullish case, trying to catch, the C wave, when I understand that this could be corrective and this could be a wave 1, 2, 3. Yes, we're getting some reactions. It's if it ended up getting a rejection here throughout the next coming hours, it's a great short, right, to show off. A catch the bounce high rejection, right? Just like this SFP. But I mean, I like this SFP. There was a lot of reasons to believe that this SFP could get the bounce, because yesterday we were talking about the probabilities of rolling over here aggressively. It's just unlikely based on how we're moving down here. This multiple 1-2 to break in a third wave. We want to manage risk eventually, but I like the idea that, we could maybe not break down here very aggressively. So getting into a reaction at levels of support, managing risk, stop loss beneath the low of the wick was, worth it for the bounce of yesterday, right? Just looking for a 2-3 to 1 risk reward, but leaving some open just to give a chance for the bulls here to see if they can prove themselves, right, in the next coming days, and maybe have that swing trade for the next few days. A scalp that turns into a possible swing, right? So I have to say that I'm going to try and join the short later if the price proves itself that it is going to be bearish. I need to join later on once these higher lows are claimed on the bounce. It doesn't matter. I'll miss the Pico top if that is the case from this range. Gonna give the bulls a chance. Gonna give the bulls a chance. Reject again. Yeah, we're kind of just dancing around here at this previous week close, previous week high. We're literally just in there. I'm not taking it, as I mentioned. I like to get into a good high probability trade. I like getting into a higher probability trade at this point. Yeah, of course it can reject. I'm just not taking it, guys. I will join later on the short with the sign of weakness. So you're safe holding or just waiting for the best trade, right? Just wait for the best trade. That's the thing. Why long at the highs? Why long at the highs? Who's longing at the highs? I mean, short, right? Or which can I take? Or first I wait, bro. Which can I take? Or first I wait? What do you mean, recipient? Which one can I take? Or first I wait? As mentioned, I don't like this. Me personally, the short, even though it is resistance, I have to say, I'll have to join later on the short position if we claim the higher lows, right? I'm not sure if maybe it's people that are joining right now, but I literally explained this scenario throughout the last 30 minutes, when the probabilities would increase for the price to move down later on with a powerful third wave is when you get the confirmation that this movement to the upside would likely be corrective based on the 3-wave up, 3rd wave is struggling, then as you claim that higher low, that's the moment where this bounce, if corrective, is interesting to get into the short. So yeah, I am short. Let's go. Absolute legend. Manage risk. Andy, buen señor. Capitán del criptobarco. Pablo Barragan. Much love to you. Liberador de la ignorancia y benemérito de las gráficas. It's the year of the stablecoin integration and way less speculation, I believe. Much love to you, Pablo. Ricardo Nava, 92.5k. Yeah, I mean, where we do have some interesting resistance as well, where the price could get a reaction if we do manage to break this little area of resistance at the moment. I have to say there's not much levels here between 91.9, basically the highs, and to this zone. That's where we have at the yearly level at 93,354. We do have a point of control slightly above us, which is literally from this range over here. Naked point of control right there, and the golden pocket in 7/8 Fibonacci zone. But yeah, it's going to be easier to detect that short in the coming days if it is going to be bearish, guys. As explained, it's either from here, take out the lows and then the bounce, or if it squeezes out and then gets rejected very aggressively, then eventually we would understand that this is likely the 3-wave structure. And if this movement down is aggressive, then the bounce here with the back test and the corrective choppiness is going to be the interesting one, right, to get in. At least for me anyway. It will be the more interesting one to get in. Right now we're just dancing here. I'm looking for the bigger moves, okay, as well. Looking for the bigger movements here. And you know, here in this range, boom, boom, we might test the highs again, and you know, it's just probably going to dance around. So yeah, not interested here at the moment, guys, for the short. I will join later on. CBM, you in alts as well? I do still hold some alts. Yes, sir. Help me out, Elliott Wave Legends. Odds my short at 93.5k get stopped out at break even. You still have a good chance. I would say that there is still a good chance for the bears. The moment that the price takes out this low, CBM, I think the probabilities will increase eventually to take out 87, 86k. I will be interested in joining a short later on, wherever the bounce is. We're just gonna have to see where the bounce happens after getting close to this low or taking out this low. But if it is taken, then if you're short from 93k, I would hold some of that short position without a doubt to literally come down to 87, 86k. So I mean, that's just a good entry. It's worth having some of that position open for sure. It's definitely worth having some of that open based on the bearish case scenario. So, and the good thing about obviously having shorts from higher is you literally have a free position. I need a bit of more confirmation here to see that this bounce from yesterday's lows is likely going to be corrective, so I can actually jump in on the rollover to sweep up these lows. We'll have that information in the coming days. I'll be providing the updates in the community, in the trading community, because this range, maybe that happens throughout the weekend, is going to be giving us very, very good information, and a short could be taken, but it all depends on the movements A double 1-2 here is still possible to the upside. A 1-2, 1-2. So it really depends on where we at here throughout the weekend. And the community will be updated, okay? If you want to join the community, you know what to do. You get a free month, guys. There is a free month promo to join the trading community. We've combined everything into one. And you just need to DM me here on Telegram. DM me promo to get one free month, okay? And then you decide if you like it or not. The education, the setups, everything that we have there. If you want to stay or if you want to leave. Hopefully you like it. Let's go, let's go. You have it in the pinned comment, okay, as well. 1 month for free, guys, in the trading community. Take advantage of that. If you hold it for years, 99% if you hold it for years. Meme cat, oh yeah, about just hold Bitcoin, right? Hold. If they decide to flush it down the toilet, you're self-holding. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, we trading is, you just need to get into the good trades, right? If you can, and manage risk, right? Manage risk is the name of the game. Greetings from Sri Lanka. Delon Rich, much love to you. CBN Crypto by Mattia. There's a good, there is a chance, I would say, for that rollover, maybe 93.3K not being hit. It's not looking too bad for the bears here with this reaction. Not looking too bad. Just because I don't have a short from here, and I haven't entered a short from here, there will be a higher probability short later on if we sweep up these lows. If that is the case, of course, we'll have to see. Andy, don't you think it will go down hard when it will go down? It got up in stairs and going down with elevator. Yeah, absolutely. But what we are interested is, usually the first move down doesn't go down hard. It is the third one. It's usually the third one. It's usually the third wave goes down very hard. And if we are wanting to see a 3-wave move down here, yes, this would be the wave that goes down hard, okay? However, you would have some kind of a first wave move down before you get the hard one inside of this wave. So there will be a hard wave down inside of this wave, but usually you get the first sign of weakness first to break the uptrend structure possibility. So, you know, this is the sweet spot to get into the short. 50%, 618 if reached, of that leg down that breaks the move up to the upside. So that's what I would be targeting here for that high probability short to sweep up down 87K finally, right? That could take a few days. Obviously, bears want the price to move down. Just go down. It's going to reject. This is it. It's going to roll over, right? Market doesn't move in a straight line, so but it could do so once we get that weakness in the coming days. And we're just, you know, considering the possible bullish scenario here, as this as a correction. This does count nicely as a correction as well, instead of a diagonal, which usually has the lowest probability. So yeah, bears need a little bit of more information here to be certain that this is a 3-wave correction and we roll over, right, in the next coming days. And I'm going to maintain some of that long position without a doubt, just because it's a good entry. Of course, if you're in a short position from higher, you want to take profits, but I would leave some open if I was in a short from higher. But I'm also going to leave a long here, understanding the bullish outcome. You know, double 1-2 or the third wave wants to develop here throughout the next coming hours. I am going to give the bulls a chance, but I have taken significant profits already from that long position of yesterday, which was taken as the SFP. But we'll obviously leave some open just in case it does decide to be a little bit bullish in the next, you know, couple of days. We range throughout the weekend, and maybe a double 1-2 is possible. So that information, we'll be talking about the scenarios in the community, of course. I will be providing an update tomorrow, either a video update and also some screenshots on the possible moves that we're looking at, and to see if I'm entering a short or if I'm maintaining the long, or maybe enter a new long, depending on the information that we get, of course. Weekends are usually rangy. I wouldn't expect a volatile move, so preferably maybe a new trade by Sunday. Getting ready for the move of Monday is going to be the option here. So yeah, much love to everybody. Thank you very much for joining today's live stream. It is Friday, so we'll keep it short and sweet. Crypto by Mattia, much love. Devil is around. Wow, 50-50 on the votes. Market is confused. You're damn right. What comes first? Almost 1,000 votes. What comes first for Bitcoin? 95k plus or 86k? It's a 50-50, guys. We're in the middle at the moment. There is a battle between bulls and bears. I am only in a long position at the moment. I did not short from the 94-95k region. We got a nice SFP that was explained on yesterday's stream from these lows. Most of the profit should be taken. However, leaving some open is definitely an option. Not in the short yet. I am interested in shorts. However, I'm going to remain a little bit patient. I don't mind catching the highs at this moment. If this turns out to be a corrective structure, we get a third wave down, regardless in a C or a 3. I know what I'm looking at here. I know what I'm looking for, and there could be a clear sign in the next coming days. And of course, the community will be updated on that, as there will unlikely be a YouTube update here throughout the weekend, guys. Remember, we're probably going to extend this promo for maybe a week, okay? Just so people get to know the community. Devil is a coach there as well, providing updates. We have altcoin updates, setups, okay? Updates every single day, Monday to Friday. Weekends, we're going to update a little bit as well. And obviously, we're looking for providing the setups also here in the Telegram community, guys. If you are interested, you know what to do, okay? We've been waiting for this for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about it. We've been working on it on the last few months. We're probably gonna get a new guy, because we've been doing some. You'll see what there is in there. We might get another guy as well that's an insane trader. Not going to give any names, but also to provide some setups in there. You got 1 month for free, guys. You know what to do. Telegram, just send me promo and you can get a month free. We'll send you the information, of course. All right. Thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Short squeezes coming. Liquidity is being increased. Yeah, maybe as well. Bit more liquidity to the downside, but we also still have plenty of liquidity to the upside, of course. Much love to everybody. Thank you for joining. If you want to join the community, 1 month for free, you have the first link down below on the Telegram. We'll send you the info. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And I will see you on Sunday or Monday, if not inside of the community. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one, everybody.